The royal starship Verelion floated silently through deep space, glowing like a silver jewel against the black. Inside, the halls were wide, bright, and filled with the finest alien technology. But that night, something was wrong. Something loud, something heartbreaking. A baby was crying. Not just any baby. This was the firstborn daughter of Princess Elira of Lyseri, a member of one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. The princess had given birth only 2 days ago, and from the moment the child arrived, she had not stopped crying. The sound was not normal. It was strong, sharp, and filled with pain. It echoed through metal walls and traveled through energy, fields. Every corner of the ship heard it. Even the highest officers and warriors felt it in their heads. Inside the royal medical room, a team of 10 alien doctors surrounded the princess and her child. They used every machine, every trick, every ancient method known to their species to calm the baby. They checked her body, brain, and energy signals. They played soothing sounds from her home planet. They used floating lights, gravity bubbles, soft-touch robots. Nothing worked. "She's not sick," one doctor whispered to another. "But she's not okay either." Princess Elira stood near the crib, her face pale and tired. She had not slept in over a day. Her long silver hair was tied up carelessly, and her usual royal armor was gone. She now wore a simple robe. Her golden eyes, once filled with strength, now held tears. "She won't stop," she said quietly. "Not for me. Not even for her own mother." The head medic stepped forward. "Your Highness, we believe she may have inherited a rare condition, an ancient emotional sensitivity. It's very rare among your kind." Elira frowned. "Then why won't she calm down?" "She feels too much," he answered. "Every sound, every touch, every emotion. She feels it all. And right now, there's fear on this ship. Stress, unrest. And it's feeding her." The princess held her daughter close, but the child screamed louder. Guards standing outside, the room covered their ears. Some walked away, unable to take the sound. Far below the medical room, in a quiet supply hallway, a human soldier named Jace Wren was busy moving crates. He wasn't anyone special, just a simple corporal from Earth assigned to help with security during the royal peace meeting. He didn't wear special armor, he didn't carry a rank of honor, he was just a man doing his job. But even here, deep in the ship, he could hear the baby crying. He looked up toward the ceiling and sighed. "Still crying?" he muttered. Poor kid. Jace had heard stories about royal babies before. Powerful, rare, and usually raised far from soldiers like him. But this baby's voice felt different. Not just loud, but sad. Real sad. Like a feeling that grabbed the chest and squeezed it. Back upstairs, Princess Elira walked out of the room. Her hands were shaking. She ignored the guards and wandered down the halls, holding her child close. She didn't know where she was going. Her heart was full of fear. Her child was breaking, and no one could help. She passed by high officials, alien generals, royal advisors. None came close. They all bowed politely and stepped back, afraid of the loud cries. She finally turned into a hallway that was quieter, an old part of the ship. And that's where she saw him. Jace stood at the far end, leaning on a crate, chewing on a small snack bar. He blinked as the princess appeared. He froze when he saw the baby in her arms. Your Highness?" he asked, quickly standing straight. Elira walked forward slowly, her arms tightening around her daughter. The baby cried harder. Jace flinched. "Do you have children?" she asked suddenly. The question surprised him. "Me? No, but I helped raise my sister's kids, twin boys." Elira looked at him with tired eyes. "She won't stop. No, one can help. No one can even hold her." Jace looked down at the screaming child, then back at the princess. "May I try?" Elira hesitated. What was she doing? This man wasn't a healer. He wasn't even Lissery. But something in her chest said, yes. What else was left to try? She nodded slowly. Gently, she handed the baby over. Jace took her carefully, supporting her neck just like he remembered from back home. The baby squirmed. Her skin was soft and glowing with small flickers of silver light. Her little hands waved in the air, and then... silence. The baby stopped crying. Jace blinked. He looked down. The baby looked up at him with big, glowing eyes and hiccuped softly. No tears, no screams, just a calm, slow breath. Elira stared in shock. How? Jace smiled, rocking her gently. You gotta hold them close and breathe slow. They feel you're calm. Kids know when you're panicking. The princess couldn't speak. For 2 days, she had heard nothing but pain. Now, for the first time, there was quiet. Jace began humming a simple tune, something his mother used to sing, a little earth lullaby. The baby closed her eyes and slowly drifted off to sleep. In that quiet hallway, with crates stacked high and metal lights flickering above, the future of an empire slept peacefully in the arms of a human soldier. Far above, the war rooms were still planning galactic peace. But here, true peace had already begun, with one soldier, one lullaby, and one very tired alien princess watching in awe. The hallway was silent now. For the first time in 2 days, the royal baby slept peacefully. The gentle sound of her tiny breathing was like music to Princess Elira's ears. She stood there, frozen, watching the human soldier rock her daughter slowly back and forth. His humming was soft, almost too quiet to hear. But it was working. Somehow, it was working. Elira didn't understand how. Jace Wren was not a doctor, not a royal nurse, not even of her species. He was just a soldier, a human from a distant planet. And yet her child, her sensitive, special daughter, felt safe with him. The baby gave a small sigh in her sleep and curled against Jace's chest. Jace smiled softly. She's warmer now, he whispered. Her little hands stopped shaking. Elira stepped closer. How did you know what to do? Jace looked up at her. I didn't. I just remembered what calmed my sister's boys. They used to cry a lot when they were little. I'd hum, walk in circles, keep my voice low. That's all I did here. Elira nodded slowly, her eyes fixed on her child's peaceful face. Her heart, which had been filled with fear, now felt lighter. But it wasn't just her heart. The entire ship began to notice. Up in the Royal Medical Chamber, doctors blinked in confusion as the ship's internal monitors showed a sudden drop in stress levels. Sound sensors confirmed the baby's crying had stopped. One medic looked at the others and said, How is this possible? Another replied, She's asleep. Someone calmed her. They checked the room. Empty. The princess was gone. Guards were sent to find her. When they finally reached the hallway where Jace stood with the sleeping baby, they froze in surprise. Elira turned to them. Do not touch her, she said softly. The guards bowed their heads. Yes, princess. The moment was powerful. A royal child held by a common human in perfect silence. Soon the news spread through the ship like wildfire. Everyone was talking. A human soldier calmed the royal child. The baby finally stopped crying. Is it true the princess allowed a human to hold her daughter? Within hours, the matter reached the royal council chamber. Inside, high-ranking Lisari nobles and alien diplomats sat around a glowing crystal table. Some wore long robes. Others had armor or robes with energy patterns running through them. They were leaders, scholars, war veterans, none of them simple. When the story was confirmed, one Lisari general slammed his fist on the table. "This is unacceptable," he roared. "A human soldier, not even an officer, handling the royal air? We are opening our arms too wide." Another diplomat, from a peaceful avian species, shook his head. "But he succeeded where we all failed." "That's the problem," the general snapped. "It makes us look weak." At that moment, Princess Elira entered the chamber. She stood tall, wearing a clean robe now, her face calm but firm. Her child was asleep in her arms again, having been returned by Jace with care and respect. The room fell silent. Elira looked around. "I understand your concern, but the truth is simple. My daughter responded only to him. You may not like it. I may not understand it. But we cannot ignore it." The general stood. "What do you plan to do, Your Highness? Assign him as a nurse?" Elira did not blink. "No, I plan to keep him near. For my child's health, he has a gift, and I will not let pride endanger her." Murmurs filled the room. One elder counselor leaned forward. "Then we must study this connection. Why would the child only respond to a human?" Later that night, Elira sat in the royal nursery. The lights were dim. Soft music played in the background. Her daughter was awake now, but calm, watching with curious eyes. Jace sat a few steps away, quietly placing together a small toy made of blocks. He had brought it from his own bag. "Keeps the mind busy," he explained. Elira watched her child reach out toward Jace's direction. "She likes you," Elira said. Jace smiled. "She's strong. She'll grow into someone important." "She already is," Elira said softly. "But her power frightens people." Jace looked up. "What do you mean?" Elira hesitated. Then she spoke, her voice low. "There's an old trait among my kind. A rare one. Some children are born with it. Their minds are open, too open. They feel everything. Every emotion, every fear, every pain around them." Jace nodded slowly. "Empathy. We have something like that on Earth, but not this strong." Elira looked at her daughter. "When she cries, she's not just crying for herself. She's crying for the whole ship. She feels everyone's stress, their fear, their anger. She doesn't know how to stop it yet." "And me?" Jace asked. Elira gave a soft smile. "You were calm, quiet, warm. She felt your peace, and it gave her peace." Jace looked at the baby. "That's heavy. She's carrying so much already." "She is," Elira said, "and I need her to survive." There was silence for a moment. Then Elira added, "Would you stay close, not as a soldier, but as someone she trusts?" Jace blinked. "Are you asking me to be her babysitter?" Elira chuckled gently. "Her guardian," he smiled. "I've never had a royal title before. You do now. Somewhere else in the ship, another noble. One who had watched all from the shadows, sent a secret message across the stars. The child is calm, but a human holds the key. This changes everything." The message was short, but dangerous. "Theo, stars outside still shined, but in the halls of power, peace was not so easy to keep." Corporal Jace Wren never imagined his simple military job would lead to this. One day, he was just guarding supply rooms on a royal starship, and the next day he was holding a sleeping alien baby while the galaxy watched. Now, he had a new duty. Not one assigned by his commander, but by Princess Elira herself. He had become the personal guardian of her child. He didn't wear new armor. He didn't have a special rank, but everyone aboard Verelion knew who he was. Whispers followed him as he walked the corridors with the baby wrapped in a soft silver cloth, held gently in his arms. She stopped crying again. "That's the human soldier. Why does the baby trust him?" Jace didn't care about the whispers. His focus was on the child. He called her Little Star, a nickname Elira didn't understand at first, but later came to like. Each day he walked with the baby in the garden bay, where trees and flowers from different planets grew under artificial light. The sound of wind, birds, and flowing water helped calm her. And Jace always hummed soft songs while he walked. The baby liked simple things, like the feel of Jace's jacket, the sound of his heart, and his calm voice. Elira watched this bond grow with quiet amazement. She often joined them, walking side by side. She would ask Jace about Earth, its people, its cities, and the way families raised children. "I never thought humans were gentle," she once said. "We're not always," Jace answered. "But some of us learned to be." Not everyone was pleased. In the war chambers, deep within the ship, General Varkos sat with a scowl on his face. He was tall, with sharp armor and eyes like frozen fire. He had served the Lysari Empire for $200 years. He had fought wars, ended rebellions, and protected the crown. Now, a human nobody was protecting the heir. "This is wrong," he said to the other council members. "This human has no rank, no training, no background in child bonding." A noblewoman with green skin and long tendrils replied, "Yet the child only responds to him." "That is not a reason to trust him," Varkos barked. "The child is special, too special. If the enemy learns that only a human can reach her, they will use it. This weakness must be corrected." "Are you suggesting removing the child from her mother's care?" another asked carefully. "I'm suggesting we follow protocol," Varkos growled. "Place the child in the medical vault, use mental stabilizers, control the emotions around her." Silence fell over the room. Varkos added coldly, "And remove the human." Later that day, Jace was in the nursery, gently playing with the baby, using soft lights that made different shapes. The baby giggled for the first time, a soft, musical sound that made Jace smile wide. Elira walked in, holding a data pad. Her face looked troubled. "What's wrong?" Jace asked. "They're moving against you," she said. "General Varkos wants you gone, and he wants my daughter placed under medical lock." Jace frowned. "Medical lock? That sounds like a cage." "It is," Elira whispered. "They've used it before, on other empathic children. It blocks emotion, stops the child from feeling too much, but it also stops growth." Jace looked down at the baby, now reaching for his finger. "That's not right. She's not broken." "I know," Elira said, "but they don't understand her. Or you." Footsteps echoed in the hall. The nursery doors opened. 2 guards entered. "We are here by order of the High Council," one said. "The child must be transferred to the stasis ward." Jace stood up. "She's sleeping," the guard replied. "Orders are orders." Elira stepped forward. "I am her mother." "I outrank you," the guard paused. "We have orders, even above you." The baby began to squirm. She could feel the tension in the room, her eyes opened, and she began to scream. The cry wasn't like before. It was louder, stronger. Lights above flickered. Energy pulses ran through the walls. Monitors beeped wildly. The ship's system warned, "Emotional surge detected. Level red." Jace stepped back and whispered gently to the baby. He held her, close. "Shh. I'm here. You're safe." Slowly, the screaming stopped. The lights returned to normal. The guards stepped back in fear. Elira stared at them. "Leave." They did. That night, Princess Elira made her decision. She went to the command chamber and stood before the High Council. "My daughter is not a danger," she said. "She is a gift. She feels what we hide, and the human you fear has given her. Something no machine or medicine could. Peace." General Varkos stood. "We do not let emotion guide the Empire." "Maybe we should," Elira answered. The council fell silent. Later, Jace sat with the baby in the garden bay. Elira joined him, bringing warm tea in crystal cups. She almost broke the ship, Jace said quietly. She responded to fear, Elira replied. And then to your calm. She's going to be strong. She already is. There was a pause. Elira looked at Jace. You saved her. Again, he smiled. She saved me too. I didn't know I needed this. Will you stay? She asked. Jace nodded. As long as she needs me. In the sky above, stars blinked slowly as if watching. A royal child slept in peace, and the galaxy had begun to change. Days passed quietly aboard the royal starship Verelion, but beneath the calm surface, tension simmered. The royal court watched closely as Jace Wren, the human soldier, cared for the princess's daughter. One evening, Princess Elira invited Jace to her private chambers. The room was large and filled with soft lights, alien plants, and glowing art from their homeworld. The baby slept peacefully in a cradle, bathed in a gentle blue light. Elira sat on a silver chair. Her face was calm but serious. Jace, there is something I must tell you. Jace sat down across from her, curious. This child, Elira began, is more than just a baby. She carries the weight of an ancient secret. Jace leaned forward. What kind of secret? Elira took a deep breath. Many generations ago, some Lissari were born with a special gift. They could feel the emotions of others, not just understand them, but live them. Jace nodded slowly. Like empathy? Yes, but stronger, more dangerous. Their feelings could become so intense they could hurt themselves and those around them. That is why most of our kind lost this ability over time. Elira's eyes grew distant. My daughter inherited this ancient trait. It makes her different. Sensitive, powerful, but also very fragile. Jace looked at the baby's sleeping face. That explains why she cries so much. Elira smiled sadly. Yes, she senses everything. The fears, anger, and sadness of this ship and its people. Jace nodded. And that's why she needed peace, and why I had to be calm. Yes, Elira said softly. Your calm helped her find peace. There was a silence. Then Elira continued. There is another thing. Her father, your prince, he was taken from us. Jace's eyes widened. I'm sorry. Elira's voice broke slightly. He was killed in an attack before she was born. His death shook the Empire. Jace swallowed. That must have been hard? It was. Elira looked away. The trauma may have awakened her power. Jace reached out and touched her hand gently. I'm here for both of you. Elira smiled, grateful. Meanwhile, in the dark corners of the ship, whispers grew louder. A Lissari noble named Sanara had heard about the human soldier and the royal child. She was clever and curious. Sanara sent secret messages to the media and to alien leaders in the council. The princess trusts a human more than her own kind, she wrote. This is a scandal. What does it mean for our empire? Soon, protests began on some Lissari worlds. Citizens worried about their royal family. They feared humans would take control. The High Council received many angry messages. General Varkos used this unrest to demand action. Remove the human, he said again. Place the child in secure care. Elira refused. I will protect my daughter, she declared. No one will take her from me. One night, Jace was in the nursery when the baby suddenly woke. Her eyes glowed softly with silver light. She reached out and touched Jace's face. Suddenly, Jace felt something strange. It was like a wave of feelings. Hope, fear, love, and sadness, all at once. He felt connected to her in a way he had never known. The baby's tiny hand held his cheek tightly. Jace smiled and whispered, "I'm here." Elira entered quietly and saw the moment. "This is her power," she said. "She connects us all." Jace looked amazed. "I can feel it too." "Yes," Elira said. "She is the bridge between worlds." The next day, the council gathered. Again, Elira stood before them holding her daughter. "I ask you to understand," she said. "My daughter's gift can bring peace, not war." The room was silent. General Varkos spoke carefully. "This power is unknown. We must learn to control it." Elira nodded. "With your help and with Jace's." The council agreed to study the child's abilities. Jace was given a new role, not just a soldier but a bonded guardian, one who would protect and guide the child. Days later, Jace and Elira sat in the garden bay with the baby. Jace held her, close as she hummed softly. "She's growing stronger," Elira said. "And calmer," Jace added. Elira looked at him. "Thank you, Jace. For everything." Jace smiled. "It's not just me. She taught me how to care." The baby smiled too, a small, bright smile that warmed the room. Outside, stars twinkled in the vast galaxy. A new chapter had begun, for the child, for the princess, for Jace, and for the Empire. The royal starship Verelion floated silently in the vast blackness of space, a shining beacon of peace and hope. But inside, the currents of power and fear flowed strong. The bond between the human soldier Jace Wren and the royal child had grown deeper, and with it, new dangers appeared. One day, as Jace walked through the garden bay holding the baby in his arms, a group of armed officers blocked his path. "Corporal Wren," one of them said sternly, "you are ordered to report to the command chamber immediately." Jace frowned. "What for?" a cold voice answered. "You are to be relieved of your duties. Return to Earth at once." Jace's heart tightened. He looked down at the baby. She was calm, but he could feel her tiny fingers grip his jacket tightly. Before he could say more, the officers motioned for him to follow. In the command chamber, General Varkos stood at the center, flanked by other council members. "Jace Wren," Varkos began, "your presence here has caused unrest. Your relationship with the princess's child threatens the stability of the Empire." Jace held his ground. "I'm only here to protect her." Varkos's eyes burned. "Your presence endangers her and the entire royal family. You will leave this ship immediately." Before Jace could reply, Princess Elira entered the room, her face strong and steady. "General," she said firmly, "Jace stays. He is the only one who can calm our daughter. Without him, she will fall into chaos," the council murmured. Varkos's face darkened. "You defy the council, Princess," he warned. "I protect my child," Elira answered. The tension filled the room. Back in the nursery, the baby's eyes began to glow softly. Suddenly, a pulse of energy spread through the ship. The lights flickered. The walls hummed with power. Crew members stopped their work, feeling a strange warmth and calm. The baby's empathic energy was growing. Jace felt it too. Holding her close, he felt waves of peace, hope, and courage washing over him. The connection was stronger than ever. Outside the royal chambers, rumors grew loud. Some believed the baby's power was a blessing. Others feared it was a threat. Protests erupted on some planets. People shouted for control, for tradition, for order. But the princess stood firm. She and Jace worked together to teach the child control. They spent hours in the garden bay, practicing calm breathing and gentle touch. Slowly, the baby learned to shape her power, not as a weapon but as a shield. One evening, Elira and Jace stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. "The galaxy is changing," Elira said softly. "Because of her," Jace replied. "And because of you," she smiled. He looked at her. I never thought I'd be part of something so big. You are, Elira said. A bridge between worlds. The baby cooed in Jace's arms, reaching up to touch a star outside the window. The light of a new dawn was beginning. For the child, for humanity, and for the stars. The stars outside the royal starship Verelion shone bright and steady. Inside, the atmosphere was quiet but full of hope. The baby, daughter of Princess Elira, had grown stronger. Her unusual power, once feared, was now seen as a gift. Jace Wren held her gently in his arms as they stood in the garden bay. The baby reached out her small hand, touching the soft petals of a glowing flower. She giggled, a clear sound that warmed everyone nearby. Princess Elira joined them, her eyes shining with pride. She is ready, she said softly. Jace smiled. Ready for what? To show the galaxy what peace really means. The Royal Council gathered once more in the Grand Chamber. This time, the mood was different. Gone were the cold stares and harsh words. Instead, there was curiosity and hope. Elira stood tall before them, holding her daughter close. My daughter's power is no longer a secret, she said. It connects us all. It makes us understand each other. The council listened carefully. General Varkos stepped forward. His expression was calm, respectful. Your Highness, we have seen the change, he said. The child's gift has brought calm to the ship and its people. He looked at Jace. And your role as her guardian has been vital. Jace nodded, feeling proud but humble. The council agreed on a new path, one of understanding and cooperation. In the days that followed, Princess Elira, Jace, and the baby traveled to other planets in the Empire. Wherever they went, the child's presence brought peace. Leaders who once doubted began to listen. People who once feared began to hope. The baby's gentle energy was like a light in the dark, a reminder that even in a vast, complex galaxy, simple things like love, calm, and trust could heal. One evening, as the sun set over a purple forest on a distant world, Jace sat beside Elira and the child. The baby lay in his arms, smiling softly. Elira spoke quietly. You have changed everything, Jace. He looked at her. We changed each other. The baby reached up and touched Jace's cheek. In that moment, Jace felt something deep, a connection not just to the child, but to all life around him. He knew that humanity's true strength was not weapons or technology, but heart. Back aboard, Verelion, the stars outside twinkled like diamonds. The galaxy was watching, and for the first time in a long time, it was ready to listen.